video. I feel like I haven't watched a scary animation video in a long time, even though I probably have not too long ago, but whatever. This one's going to be by IMR Scary Tales. I found a scary creature on a highway, and this is going to include 3 horror stories animated to about 20 minutes. Again, these are all animated stories. IMR Scary Tales, I definitely have not seen IMR in a while. I know they normally have longer videos, that's why I haven't been reacting to the longer ones as much. The odd time I'll watch like a nice long video, but normally I like the short 5-10 minute ones, but like 20 minutes is fine, not crazy, but so you guys may hear my brother yelling downstairs. If you guys do, just ignore it as best as you can. Hopefully he's quiet for this video, but yeah. 3 horror stories in one, it's 20 minutes, so roughly, I don't know, 7 minutes each, 6.5. But one of them for sure will be I found a scary creature on a highway. If you guys want more IMR Scary Tales videos, please let me know in the comments below that you guys want more horror story reactions. Do you guys prefer animated reactions or just like Mr. Nightmare reactions? I assume both, but yeah, anyways. Without further ado, let's go guys. Story 1, Creepy Dad.
This happened today, and I'm still freaked out about the whole experience. I'm going to include all the things that happened leading up to this point to provide some context, though this would be bad enough on its own. I work at a kid's toy store, where I originally felt safe from creeps, as I've had some in the past in the food industry, where I feel there is more exposure to different varieties of people. This is the kind of store with more expensive toys that you buy every once in a while and on occasion. We don't really get too many regulars, so no matter who you are, if you come in more than 2 times, we take note of you, for various reasons. It's also in the mall near where I live, which I think is important to note. About 6 months into my employment, there was a man who came in with his daughter. No big deal. I interacted with them like I would with any customer. Right off the bat, the father seemed off. I don't know if he was drunk, tired. He said they had a long drive, but why would you go shopping if you're that tired? Or
that's great.
Just strange. I was a bit uncomfortable, more for his daughter's safety getting home, but I tried to just get through the encounter and make a sale so they would leave. He started to hit on me blatantly, making my discomfort go through the roof. Something about how aggressive he was being, especially in front of his young daughter, with someone who was obviously a lot younger than him, was alarming to me. He was continually asking about if I had a boyfriend, why I wasn't settled down yet, if he could take me out and get my number.
No.
He was relentless. I wasn't sure if I was being just overly paranoid,
Why haven't you settled
so I
down?
tried
Mind
to
your
continue
business.
about my business as he went to look at a couple more things with his daughter before checking out.
Where's his daughter?
I set out to go stalk the shelves a bit to keep my distance. After he lingered a bit, trying to catch my attention all the while,
Pretty sure you can't go to the back because then
he
he can
finally
just...
caught on to my avoidance and checked out.
Can he steal something?
My manager, who was the cashier at the moment, came over to tell me how he was discussing various inappropriate things about my body and what he wanted to do to me, in front of his daughter still.
Oh, God.
We were both disgusted, but tried to brush it off and finish the shift. Fast forward to 2 or 3 weeks later, Creepy Dad, as we've come to call him, returns with his daughter. He corners me to try to ask for suggestions on products, and I rush to tell him random things before escaping to the back room. I found some stuff to do back there, and stayed there until my manager came back, eyes wide. She said he had took his time, finally getting to check with his daughter and her toys. He then proceeded to wander around about with her, looking around like he was looking for someone. She thought he was waiting around to see if I was still there, but left when I hadn't come back in a long time.
Good.
I was a little scared, but I figured if he was gone, I was safe.
Now you gotta stop that.
The next time he came in was about a month later. I saw him walk and start to browse, so I tried to go in the back before he had a chance to see me and decide to extend his stay. I hid back there until the manager came to see where I was.
Holy crap, man.
When she confirmed he left, I returned to the front, thinking I was safe again. A half an hour of mindlessly doing work. I look out into the mall to people watch since it wasn't that busy.
He's there.
Creepy Dad was sitting outside with his daughter.
Okay, the daughter low-key looks sus too.
This wouldn't be that unusual if his eyes weren't burning into me.
And his
I
teeth are like...
tried to avoid his gaze and move closer to the back of the store and not be able to be seen as well.
Call the cops.
He stayed there for another hour or so before getting up to start walking the mall.
Okay, call the cops for sure.
I couldn't shake the anxiety I felt and soon found out why. The location of our store is in a wider opening of the mall that is more oval in shape than the rectangular expanses of the rest of it. This is because it's the center of the mall, and contained some more stores than the 2 other straightways of the rest of the mall. Sorry, I don't know how to describe it without posting a picture and giving away my location and work. Maybe I'll try to draw it later. This makes it easier to make full rounds in this middle part. Creepy Dad was continually passing the store slowly, then picking up speed to walk the rest of the way.
Where's his daughter? His daughter's not even there
He
now.
kept it pretty natural until he got to my store, then slowed down to a pace that would look almost like he was window shopping, except he was looking directly at me.
He's window
He did
shopping
this for
you.
about an hour or so. I'm not sure.
I really hope
I
he
tried
walks
to
into a
ignore
pole
it
and
as
breaks
best
his
as I
nose.
could. He eventually disappeared, and I was hoping this would be the last time I would see him. It was about a month and a half until today, when I came in a bit rushed to my shift. I jumped into action, as it was a bit busier today than usual. In the middle of me helping a customer, the manager comes over to tell me to stay with this family, because Creepy Dad was back.
Oh no.
A sense of dread washed over me, and I struggled to stay calm and appear okay. I saw over the customer's shoulders those same eyes burning into me. He was watching me so intensely, I felt the need to shift my weight, so the customer I was with cut his line of sight off. I played it cool, but I didn't feel any drip of relief until I saw him checking out. I was hoping the busyness of today would be a good buffer from his creepiness. The shift went fine, and I didn't give Creepy Dad another thought. I clocked out and started to head out of the mall. I usually take a back hallway out to get to the parking lot. When I get outside, I started heading to the lot and noticed there was someone outside smoking a
Oh,
cigarette
it's him.
by a different exit not too far away. Nothing too unusual, but I always try to be observant. As I was heading away from the door, the person put out the cigarette and started to walk the same way.
Yep, it's him.
That
You
was
can
a
already
huge
tell.
red flag, and I picked up my pace.
Get in your car and
Fishing
drive
through my
away.
pockets for my
Please, hurry up.
keys.
Hurry up.
In the corner of my eye, I could see the person speed up as well.
Fuck.
At this
Go,
point,
man.
I was done and just wanted to go home. And I ran for my car since it wasn't that far away, keys in hand. I fumbled with my keys a bit, of course, and jumped into my car,
Lock
locking the door immediately. I look out my window and see the man was maybe 2 feet behind me and now was standing outside of my car, seeming to contemplate his next move.
Drive
Out of
away.
fear, I was frozen, staring at him. After who knows how long of staring, I realized it was none other than the Creepy Dad.
No shit.
I started to panic and started my car, hoping he'd take the hint and go away. He started to creepily smile. It felt predatory, like he enjoyed my fear. He then abruptly turned and quickly walked off down the line of cars. I drove home as fast as I could, taking an extra 30 minutes to take random turns so I could make sure I wasn't being followed.
Smart. Very good.
After tonight, I cannot assume he's some lonely, bitter single dad who doesn't understand the dating game anymore. It scares me that he's using, intentionally or not, his daughter as bait, or a part of his sick pickup game.
Oh yeah, that's why
I
he
don't
got
know
his
how
daughter.
he knew
Is
where
that even his
I parked,
daughter?
or when I got off.
Wait, what if?
He does always seem to know when I work, because that's the only time anyone I work with sees him in the store.
Like the
I
daughter
don't know
looks
if I should
sus
call the
too.
police or not,
Yes.
but I really hope that I won't see him again.
What kind of stupid question?
If I do,
Should I call the
I will
police?
definitely update if there is any interest.
Oh, of course you should freaking update and call the police. The fuck? But yeah, I don't even know if that guy was his daughter. I feel like he
When I was
kidnapped
5
her.
years of age, we took a road trip, as was common in our family, up to upstate New York to see my grandmother on my father's side, as well
Okay.
as to tour around the countryside a bit. There we were in rural upstate, away from the region in which my grandmother actually lives, and we were planning on staying in a bed and breakfast my father had booked ahead of time. It had been an unexpectedly long drive due to weather complications, and when we found the B&B in question, we were all quite tired. We went up to the door to check in, and a woman
traveling's
missing her 2
tiring.
front teeth on both jaws answered. She invited us in, but warned us that they didn't have any rooms for the night. They were booked solid. My father protested that he had made the arrangements in advance, but she said she knew another hotel that had vacancies just up the way, and she would give them a call, and she assured him they would offer the same rates. But first, she insisted on showing my parents around, as her husband was an artist.
Wait, what?
And she wanted to show them his studio.
Is that porn?
and his
It looks
famous
like our
artwork.
porn.
We were all invited in,
They're like,
but after seeing the first few pieces of naked women, missing their front teeth, bound, or being tortured in various ways, my parents opted to leave the kids outside with Grandma.
yeah.
Apparently most of the rooms were full to the ceilings with similarly foreboding images of dead or dying people, with the occasional sculpture of menacing animals. My parents were a bit creeped out.
Well,
I
yeah.
just figured these people were eccentric, and they had dodged a bullet by ending up somewhere else.
Fair.
We all waited out back while the woman called her friend, beside a pit containing what could have been nothing other than an altar, covered with pentagrams. My mother mentioned that it seemed strange that not only had they not met the husband, who was supposedly there somewhere, having toured the entire house, but there hadn't been a single sign of life or piece of luggage suggesting that anyone else was actually staying in any of the guest bedrooms in the supposedly fully booked B&B. A side note that's probably not worth mentioning,
It's probably
that
empty.
I
They're
found
probably all
strange when
dead.
my mother brought it up while telling the story later, as I was 5 at the time. A lot of this story has been narrated to me after the fact by different people who were involved on some level. Was that we stopped by a park to stretch our legs at some point before proceeding to the next place. The storm was closing in on us, and my parents wanted to be sure we had zero energy upon arrival. While in this park, my mother claims that one of us found and brought to her a small package with a pendant on it. The pendant was a pentagram on one side, with a Third Reich symbol on the other. My mother took it away and put it in her purse. We arrived at the next bed and breakfast to be greeted by a different woman, also conspicuously missing her front 2 teeth,
Sus.
upper and lower.
Sus.
It was about this time that my grandmother mentioned
Hey, Darren
that she had
Cahoots.
read a lot of articles recently about tourists being killed by some cult of Satanists
Yep.
or some such in this area.
Yep.
Great. She tended to tell a lot of tall tales, so I think my parents kind of rolled their eyes and dismissed it, but they made a point to mention it later. The storm was now upon us. We were all exhausted, and there was nowhere else to stay that we could find anywhere near there. My
Sleep in
dad
the car.
decided we would make do with whatever they had to offer.
Sleep in the car.
What they had to offer was a slightly renovated barn. During the bustle of moving our luggage in, the woman kept inviting my brother, 3,
They're
and
such
I into
sus.
the house, saying she had some sweets, and wouldn't we like to meet her kitties. She made it clear, however,
Such
that
really
my
sus.
parents were not welcome into the house because it was too messy, and she would be embarrassed.
Pardon me?
We were herded away into the barn and told not to talk to the lady. Once inside, my father,
Oh
who
my
was by
god.
this time a bit creeped out, went about checking the beds and securing the one-room barn unit. The windows had no coverings whatsoever, and the doors had no locks.
What?
We placed pillows from the couches in the window frames, and my dad grabbed a dresser against one wall to block the door. When he went to move the dresser, he discovered it was on wheels, which was completely silent. He also noticed that the wall behind it moved a little when he shifted the dresser.
What?
When he scrutinized the wall,
The wall just
without a
moves?
seam, he pushed on the wall and it gave way. 2 invisible doors opening outwards into the night, and just outside was a dark-colored van which had been backed up to the opening. Livid, my dad went about rearranging all the furniture in the room, stacking the heaviest against the outward swinging doors, and
Oh
moving
my
the mobile
god.
dresser with various loud objects behind it
What the
against the main
fuck is
door.
going on here?
When he had completed this, and we were all starting to settle down, at about 11 p.m., the woman brought us fresh-baked blueberry muffins.
The truck's so
Now,
slow.
As I mentioned before, I don't remember much of this trip, but this is one element I have a vivid recollection of. With the inclement weather and the rush to find a place to stay, complemented by the lack of restaurants, nigh anything, in the area, we hadn't had what one might consider a proper meal. When you're 5, dinner is very important. The muffins were fresh-baked and smelled heavenly. I wanted one more than I wanted anything else in the world. However, presuming, probably correctly, that they were poisoned, or something was seriously wrong about them, since this entire thing was beginning to feel like a horror movie.
Oh yeah.
My
Don't eat
mother
them.
absolutely forbid us from even going near them. She put them on a high shelf and sent us to bed.
Smart.
I was so angry. I went to bed hungry and irritable.
What? I got interrupted, but we're good now. Focus on me. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Okay, let's go, guys. 6:43 left.
Only 2 things happened that night that I can recall. My parents slept very lightly, when at all, as you might imagine. They claimed they kept hearing talking outside. My sister woke us all with a blood-curdling scream around 1 a.m.
Oh,
for
shit.
reasons unknown, as she was usually a very quiet baby. When my parents got up and milled for about an hour trying to get her back to bed, my mom noticed something on the wall as she was walking her around and called
no.
her father over. What I would later learn was that the picture hanging to one side of the door that during the daylight seemed to be logs in a recently extinguished fire pit and a tranquil forest scene was by night unmistakably burning corpses, with a hooded, smoky figure looming over them.
Oh my god.
We got up the next morning, packed up early, and waited for the lady to get up so we could pay and leave.
Pay? I'm not
While my
paying for
parents were
that.
packing the bags, the woman came around back and gave my brother and I small wooden cats carved into the form of napkin holders, each a different color, that she had written little notes on. As my father was paying after loading us into the car, my mom began kicking the gravel around on the drive absentmindedly. The woman came over to say goodbye and to wave to us with her gaped grin.
That's
And
her
my
leg
mother
moving.
noticed that she was trying to discreetly recover the tiles that she was uncovering under the gravel.
Why was her leg moving?
Before driving off, my mother got back out of the car and uncovered one of the tiles, and she claims it was the same pentagram with Third Reich symbol within it that she had seen a similar version of in the park, prompting her to notice, as we drove away, that the necklace was no longer in her purse. The likelihood of it simply falling out of the purse pocket she had placed it in was, as she put it, quite unlikely. People listening to this story seemed appalled at the fact that I still had that little wooden cat that the nice lady gave me, sitting in my bedroom. I know this all sounds very strange, but I can only assure you that it matches well with my memory of the events, and all of the adults who were there tell the same story, and two of them are not known to extrapolate at all. Personally, I'm glad it's just a weird story we look back on with confusion, and that nothing stranger happened that night. Update.
You're lucky you didn't die.
According to my mother, whom I spoke to today, it was near Millbrook, and one was a farm, the other was an old mill. I actually found the website for the B&B. It's still running, but with different owners. I don't know that I should post the link, however. They seem like nice people who have improved it quite a lot. Here are the photos of the cat the woman gave me. As a kid, I just thought it was a cool old building with some cats and a nice lady, so I have kept this for over 20 years. About 3 years ago, I was driving to my dad's house from across state in Pennsylvania. He lived far out in the country down a desolate paved road that crossed with an old dirt road, as well as some unused railroad tracks.
Sus.
The entire area was surrounded by deep woods and unused farming fields. There were a couple of dilapidated old houses, an old well, and a few old cemeteries nearby. I arrived at those crossroads I mentioned earlier after being on the road for about 4 hours, and I decided to pull over and relieve myself. I stopped my truck about 60 feet from said crossroad, close to a small farm shed with some old equipment in it. There was a single light bulb on the side of the shed, providing the only source of light in the nearly pitch-black darkness of the night. On the opposite side of the road from the shed was a steep drop-off into the ditch on the other side of some dense woods. As I was peeing in the dark by the shed, I was suddenly overwhelmed by a massive feeling of dread, like someone had just punched me directly in the gut. I had been around these woods all my life, and I used to walk around the area at night as a teenager, and I assure you that I had never felt as scared as I did in that exact moment. I quickly finished up and goaded on my
If it's a bad gut feeling, you run.
I ran back to my truck, got in, and locked the doors.
There you go.
I flicked the headlights on and cracked the engine so badly that you could hear the gears grinding. But all I cared about was getting out of there. As soon as I began to turn back onto the road from the shoulder, my headlights shone over the ditch and picked something up on the other side of the road.
Oh no.
About a foot from the asphalt. My stomach immediately sank again. There was something crawling out of the ditch on all fours.
Oh my
It was
god.
hunkered down like an animal.
Run. No.
But its body looked almost human. A human that was attempting to mimic a stalking animal.
That's not even a
It
human.
didn't
That's
look hairy, but it was a uniform color. Almost yellow. Not yellow like a cougar or a lion,
it's like a
but a
huge
sickly
bug.
yellow that reminded me of jaundiced skin. Its head was shaped like an oval, but had no hair or ears that I could see. The mouth was very, very wide, and looked like a thin straight line that extended all the way across the creature's face. It was very, very slightly upturned at the edges, like a slight smile. His eyes were very small and beady, just like two black pinpoints. It had no nose, or any facial features aside from the mouth and eyes. Since I was around 7 feet from it, I'm certain it wasn't just a person wearing a mask. Even the body sort of seemed wrong.
Why are you still there?
But I can't pinpoint why I couldn't see feet or hands, since there was about a foot of grass at the edge of the road.
Are you gonna go or what?
Whatever it was, I'd say it was about the size of a 12-year-old. As soon as my lights hit it, I could tell by its movements that it had been in the process of slowly creeping up the ditch to the road, and when my lights hit it, it sort of retracted slightly, like it was surprised that it had been discovered. I didn't stick around long enough to see what was going to go down next.
Well,
I floored the
sure
gas
seemed
and
to.
flew all the way to my dad's house and stayed up the entire night freaked out. The part of the experience that still utterly scares me to this day is that whatever I saw was definitely stalking up that ditch to get me when I had my back turned to it. Otherwise, I can't possibly explain what had triggered those emotions when I stood there in the darkness with my guard completely down. The only thing that came close to that sudden realization of grave danger was when I was nearly struck by a speeding car on a city street many years ago. I don't know what could have happened if I had lingered around for a few minutes longer, but I'd rather not think about it.
Yeah, I'm trying to imagine like what that thing was, because like that was not a person. That just seemed like, obviously from the animation you can't really see how big it is in real life. Kind of seemed like a huge bug. Cats. Kind of seemed like a huge bug. Like maybe like 12 of my cats put together. I don't know. It just seemed pretty big, like as in like length, because it just seemed really long. I don't know what that was though, because like, it was like happy, it was like evil smile, red eyes, like that just looked really creepy. I assume that story is fake. Does it say true stories? It doesn't say true stories. It just says horror stories animated. So maybe they weren't even real. The dad one, the first one, that one was really creepy for sure, because like for me that one is like, that one's just like a stalker. Someone's obviously stalking you. They obviously want you, or they want something. I don't know what exactly. Like, probably they wanted to have sex with her. All I can guess is. But I feel like that girl wasn't even his son. His daughter. I feel like that was like a random kid that he snatched, and she was like all happy, like really creepily. You know what I mean? Just like really sus. Like, I don't know if that's just how the animation made it look, but she just looked kind of like weirdly, strangely happy. Like strangely. Anyways, I'm glad that girl's okay. I really hope that guy went to jail. I hope he got caught by somebody. And the second story, don't even get me started. One, they were like, "Oh, I'm gonna pay for it." Pay for it? You stupid! I'm not paying for that. Like we would have got. I'm surprised we didn't get killed. You want me to pay for that? No, that's not happening. Pay for that? Okay. I'm gonna run away. And like, bye. Like, there's nothing there anyways. Like, all you gotta do is pack of shit and run away. I don't know if they'd be able to get away, but I don't know how it works there. But anyways, that just seemed very uneasy. That just seemed really weird and really creepy, and I don't even know what to say about all those three. The first one was definitely scary. Like, they were all really scary, except the last one. The last one just seemed a little bit far-fetched and fake, but the first two seemed somewhat believable. The second one was also a bit, but the first one definitely seems believable because there are definitely stalkers out there. So I'm glad that she got away. I'm glad that the family in the second story did not get injured or hurt in any sense, and I hope they are all okay. I do kind of want to know the notes that were written on the wooden cats though, and why they still have the cats. Like, I would have not. I love cats. Like, I got 2 cats right there, but like real cats, you know. I don't want no freaking fake wooden cats from a sus ass thing. So I'll probably get rid of those. Or put them in the garage or something, but I guess it's been 20 years since you had them. Nothing creepy or paranormal has happened, so I guess you're okay, hopefully. I don't know. But yeah, with that being said, that is the end of the video. If you guys want to see more IMR Scary Tales reactions, please let me know in the comments below. Please give this video a like to let me know that you guys like these kinds of videos. And be sure to subscribe and turn on post notifications for more content like this, more Damian, more reactions to whatever else you guys want me to see. So, with that being said, that's the end of the video. I'll see you guys tomorrow with another video. See you guys later. I just gave you guys the finger.